He was born a snake handler, and he'll die a snake handler. You're listening to Game Points with Matthew Ross on TSN 690.
620 TSN 690. It's Game Points with Matthew Ross. We're here till 7 o'clock tonight. Check out GamePointsRadio.com. That's where we put some audio from this program regularly. Matthew Words on Twitter is my Twitter handle. Just updating you on some NBA items. One, Rockets get blown out at home by the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry came in with an ankle injury, left with a sprained knee. 121-94 the final, as Golden State's now up 3-1. I wouldn't expect to see Curry in Game 5. Meanwhile, in Boston, Celtics trying to even their series at 2 with the Atlanta Hawks. It's 15-11 right now for Atlanta so far in that one. It does look like Boston got one of their injured bodies back on the bench, at least for now. Canadian Kelly Olynyk looks to be back for Boston tonight. All right, we're talking some Major League Baseball here on the program. We'll have Boston versus Houston in a Sunday Night Baseball a little later on here on TSN 690. Dave Trentadue is here in studio as well. Dave Trentadue on Twitter, if you want to follow him there. Dave, what kind of stories you got for us?
All right, well, the first one, Felix Hernandez passed Randy Johnson for the most strikeouts in Mariners history with 2,163. He added 3 more since then. Through the age of 30, there's only been 7 pitchers that have racked up more strikeouts than him. He's pretty much a lock for the 3,000 strikeouts, in my opinion. My question for you guys is, do you think the 4,000 strikeout club is realistic?
Wow. Mokan, I'll let you field this one first.
No. I think the way pitchers go now, and given how it's been of the last 10, 20 years, they don't have that ability to go 9 strong innings anymore. They try to conserve these guys, and the way rotations have been, 5-man rotations, some are even tinkering with 6-man rotations for the stretch run to keep guys fresh. I don't see that happening. And look, I know baseball has now transitioned from the long ball to the pitchers thing being the go-to now, but I cannot see him hitting 4K in his career.
Yeah, I think maybe 35, 3,600, maybe the capper. It really depends on how long he plays, obviously. But I agree with you, Mo. The fact that guys like this don't go 8-9 innings that often, also, in addition to how many starts and 5 and 6 starters, I don't know. I don't think it's possible.
It would be cool, though. I'd love to see it. But all right, so the MLB Commissioner, Rob Manfred, has gone onto the record saying expansion is inevitable. We all know Montreal is a strong candidate, but a recent Sports Illustrated article cites Mexico City as an intriguing international option. Do you guys see that happening, or is that more of a pipe dream? Or
I don't legitimately see it happening. I see more preseason games and the odd regular season game happening there. I think security might be an issue. I think the economy in Mexico would also be an issue. You look at the amount of money that games are, that box seats are for certain big market teams in Major League Baseball. I can't imagine them getting that in Mexico City regularly. So that's a team that's going to have to generate revenue, maybe hugely on TV revenues and things like that, multimedia platforms to make up for the lack of gate revenue. What do you think, Mo?
I think Mexico is a legitimate threat to be in Major League Baseball, because you look at the market right now, Matt and Dave, and what they've done so far. They had Houston play San Diego in a preseason exhibition series in Mexico earlier this year. Not only that, though, the population of baseball in Mexico is very big. They are hungry for baseball, and the Mexico City population itself is a crazy sports town. They support soccer very well. The NFL will go down there with Oakland playing Houston in mid-November later on this year. And not only that, though, you mentioned the TV market. Mexico is a huge TV market. So just imagine if you have a team in Mexico City playing in Chicago or playing in L.A., on a weeknight or a weekday. Those seats will be filled up because those Mexican fans who maybe migrated from Mexico to the States will say, let me go support my city playing team A, B, or C on the 6-game road trip that they have up the Midwest.
All right, then ESPN senior writer Buster Olney, he recently penned an article suggesting teams shift one of their infielders to the outfield and play with the 4 outfielders in ballparks that have a lot of real estate in the outfield, like Coors Field in Colorado. The infield shift has been such a prevalent premise in the past few years. Do you see this becoming a real option for teams, especially like against certain power hitters?
I don't know. I think the rover is very effective. It's particularly if you have a sinker baller, ground ball type of pitcher. I don't see them going to outfield, extra outfielders all that often. The rover seems to work very well. You know about the Ortiz shift and some of these guys, and it works extremely well. I just can't see them doing that in the near future. It seems a little too radical for an old school type of sport like that.
Recently, I read a book on analytics, the Pittsburgh Pirates' ascension and how they became a pretty good powerhouse now. They always tinkered with that idea to have their fourth infielder play in the outfield, be a de facto hybrid player for that situation at hand here. And I think it's more in the analytics process, saying, does this work for us when we go up against batter A, B, or C, or when we play in this stadium on the road here? So I think it comes down to that ability, because some teams now, with the way they transition from the old school methods to the new school of football, of baseball, that yes, this could be the new coming of baseball if it's the right scenario for them at that moment.
All right. And there you go. There we go. Let's look at the baseball roundup here. Of course, we have Houston versus Boston tonight. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. The pregame show begins at 7 p.m., so don't miss that. Up next here on Game Points with Matthew Ross, former NHL goaltender Mathieu Garon joins us to talk some playoff hockey. We'll talk about the Lightning, a team that he's followed closely since he's still based down in Florida, and get his thoughts on some of the other storylines going on right now in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Stay tuned. It's Game Points.